evening, this is Bitwute Tungundimbrit with MM Today. We broadcast news and letters every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday in English. Our today's interview guest is Mr. Otgonbold. He is the professional air traffic controller and watch supervisor at Air Control Center of National Air Traffic Services Division of Mongolia. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for receiving our invitation.
Okay.
So let's start our conversation with talking about National Air Traffic Services Division of Civil Aviation Authority of Mongolia. Tell us about it.
You know, National Air Traffic Service Division of Civil Aviation Authority of Mongolia has been established in 1957 and as an air traffic control unit of the Defense Minister, and then 1986 it became Air Traffic Control Center, a little bit bigger, and then of the Civil Aviation Authority of Mongolia, and finally in 1998 we found a current name, you know, National Air Traffic Service Division of Mongolia.
So right. What do you guys do at the division?
You know, our organization main functions is to prevent collisions between aircrafts and ground hazards, and conduct safe and efficient flight, and maintain orderly flow of the air traffic, and notify concerned organizations and assist of the search and rescue operations.
So you mentioned this division was established in 1957, which means you guys are celebrating your 60th anniversary. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we're gonna celebrate our organization 60th anniversary this year, and in the frame of the celebration, I've come here, and so thank you for inviting me here.
Right. So tell us about your mission, your motto.
A few years ago, we just described our motto like safe ATS. And
safe ATS.
And every single letter have the single meaning. And S means safety. We provide safety between the aircrafts and all the flights. And A means adaptability. And F means fairness. We must be fair to each other. And E means the excellence of the personnel. You know, every organization, they want to have a good people and good skilled staff. So that's why in motto there's the excellence of the personnel. And the A, another one A is accountability, and T means teamwork. ATC is a teamwork. You know, and the last S stands for the sustainable development. We have to develop non-stop, and you know, develop. Always go forward. And
vision of the division?
Many years ago, we don't have radars. We just laid from the world standard, and then around the 90s, and then we trying to reach the world standard, and we implemented many projects in the last 20 years, and then now we put our vision like to be a leading ATS provider in Asia-Pacific region.
In the Asia-Pacific region?
Yeah, and 2010, I think in 2010 there's an audit team from the ICAO. They come here and they rated Mongolia as the 5th rank in the Asia-Pacific region and the 15th in world ranking. And then
by its safety or by its workflow?
You know, all the Civil Aviation Authority is doing very good, and then they put that kind of mark, and then we just, you know, we had a dream we want to be the leading, you know, we want to be on the top of our region. So that's why our vision is to be a leading ATS provider in Asia Pacific region.
I'm thinking about international standard, because you guys are working with international pilots, international control centers. Tell us about how do you guys implement international standard in your workflow?
Mongolian Civil Aviation Authority is the member of the ICAO. ICAO means the International Civil Aviation Organization. So you're the member, you have to follow all the rules. So that's why our regulation and most of the documents is international, and all the requirements for the active controllers. They have to meet international standard or above international standard.
Right.
Not less than. And that's why the air traffic controllers have to pass the English test for the international test.
What is the English?
It's a test like TOEFL, IELTS. It's a test name. It's called the Test for English for the Aviation Personals, TIP. And I go say the English is the default language for the all the aviation air traffic controllers. The English is the default language for the aviation, and our controllers, our staffs, they just obtained the English required test requirement in 2010. And if you get the level 4 or above, you have a right to work as a controller.
So tell us about the National Air Traffic Service Division and its latest implementation, the projects in latest years, in recent years. What did you guys implement to upgrade your workflow?
As I mentioned before, our vision is to be a leading ATS provider in a region.
Right.
And so in the last few years we made huge projects in ATS field, and like for example in 2011 we implemented the reduced vertical separation minima. It means that we just reduced the vertical distance between two aircrafts, and before 2011 we used to have 500 meters between two aircrafts to pass each other. Then after implementing that project, that's reduced to 300 meters, like a world standard.
Oh, right.
So it means that we enhanced our airspace capacity, and it means that we can have more traffic. More traffic means more money, and it's good for the economy.
Right, and about the, to my view, you guys have to have a radar, right?
Do you guys mean radar screen, right? In 2012, in last 20 years, maybe more than 20 years, we had a dream like we want to have a radar screen in our ATS field.
Until 2012, you didn't have radar.
Yeah, we don't have a radar until 2000. And we implemented the radar systems in 2012 in ATS, and it's announced officially. So many people is trying to implement this project, and it's not only the last staffs, last director generals. It's many director generals and many
generation
after
generation.
It's a dream of the generations, many generations. And then we have the radars from the very good modern radars from the TELS and the Indra, and two big company in aviation field. And now we're using the radar systems since 2012 in upper airspace in air control center. And also last year we implemented the radar systems in approach control in Ulaanbaatar.
So I recently heard about PBN routes from news like 2-3 weeks ago or so. What is PBN routes? Tell our audience about it.
Our organization have one of the main functions is trying to have a good service with that meets customers' demand, and our customers are airliners, and they want to be travel less, fly less, fly short, and spend less fuel.
Less fuel, okay.
It means that they want to save money.
Yes.
And so the International Civil Aviation Organization, they have the concept like a PBN routes, and PBN stands for the performance-based navigation.
Performance-based navigation. Right.
So it's a good concept for all the aviation field, and so we have the plan like implement the PBN routes. In 2015 we implemented the phase 1. We shortened the free airways in the east side, and
East side, okay.
and this year we implement the PBN phase 2. We add more air routes, very short routes.
Short routes.
Short. It's shorter than the other conventional routes, and sometimes it's shorter than 20 kilometers.
Oh, really?
30 kilometers, something like that. But
in the air, that's short.
Yeah, you know, it's a huge amount of flight, and quite a lot of flights there, and it means then you can calculate the minutes, and the minutes means the fuel, and then you can save the money for the customers. Our customers will be happy, and then they're gonna send the flights to our country. You know, Mongolia is open country. It's very nice, you know, reasonable air routes are there, and we have to fly that routes, and then our flight will be increased, and then our income is good, and we expect the good income, and also there's less emission of the CO2, you know, CO2.
Yeah, emission. So you guys are on the phase 2. How many phases to go from phase 2 are there to implement it fully?
PBN have the 3 phases, and the last phase will be implemented on the approach area of Ulaanbaatar.
So within the Ulaanbaatar area. So you mentioned Mongolia is open country, and I'm thinking about how many airway gates are there in Mongolia on the boards? There has to be, right, in the air?
You know, Mongolia is just a landlocked country, you know, sandwiched between Russia and China.
Yes.
But we have the good position for the air routes. You know, there's air routes, main routes from the Europe to Asia, Asia to America. We just placed on the one part of that main routes, and that's
we're in the middle.
Yeah,
they have to cross us.
They have to cross. But if we don't give them a reasonable price or reasonable things, they can make turn. Right? So we implement PBN, something like that, modern concepts, and they're happy to cross, they fly over Mongolia. And we have the 6 gates to the China and 9 gates to the Russia.
6 on Chinese side and
9
on Russian side. Right. Very interesting.
And average of our flight per day is more than 350, and we have the also departure and arrival flights and domestic flights, and it's around 400 per day.
400 per day.
But
so around 400 aircrafts
fly, not the aircraft.
Well, okay. In my word, 400 aircrafts are crossing Mongolian territory, in a way, right? Average per day.
400 flights are using Mongolian airspace.
Mongolian airspace, okay.
Including domestic and international.
Politically correct term. Okay, so air traffic controller. And who is air traffic controller? Because not so many people know about this profession. Not so many youngsters know about it. This profession.
I agree with you. Know, well, you know, now everyone using the smartphones, and everybody can use the Google, right? And if you type on the Google air traffic control, who is the air traffic controller, and then you will see that one of the most stressful job in the world.
Oh, really? Yeah. Stressful job.
As I'm a controller, and you know, when I start my career in aviation field, my friends, they don't know what I'm doing there.
Yeah, I didn't even know about this profession.
People know that. If we talk about the aviation, people know that pilots and
that's the first thing to come to your mind.
Yes. But in aviation field, there are many special occupations and many special staffs who are working there. You know, like air traffic controller and flight office, information officer, and including technical guys. You know, they're trying to be ready on all the techniques. So an air traffic controller, about the air traffic controller. Okay, this is the guy who is handling the flights in an area of his responsibility if it is safe. You know, this is the guy who is helping the passengers to get home safely.
Okay, this is the guy who helps passengers and the pilot to get home safely.
Yeah.
So you guys are looking at to monitor all the airway flights, and you guys manage.
Yeah, we have to manage all the aircraft. So we have, you know, air traffic controllers have to have many skills. Like, okay, start from the beginning. And if you want to be air traffic controller, you have to pass the physical test.
Physical test.
Yeah, physically, and
You have to
include.
be fit.
Yeah, you have to be fit. Your eyes must be good. Your brain must be good, and then the second you have to pass the mental test. You know.
Mental test.
Yeah. You know, in 2013, I think, and you remember the German flight, German pilot have had suicide with the passengers. After that, the mental test is getting stronger for the aviation field. You know, every single word you say can be followed the big disaster. So that's why you have to be so careful on the microphone.
There's lots of responsibility in your job.
Yeah, very responsible.
Yeah.
High responsibility, and then you have to pass the all the general knowledge test and the English test, and then you can go to the study. You know, study. Before you study, you have to pass the tests, and then after you graduate your university or special training courses, and then you come here, you cannot work as a controller. You have to follow the one instructor, like you know.
For how many years?
It depends on what ratings you want to get, and there are many ratings, like you know, just a flight information officer. Then you have to be the air controller and with the radar controller license and ratings. And if you want to get another ratings, you have to train in more than 200 hours with the mentor.
Right. You said stressful. Why is it stressful?
Tell
us about the pain. The bad side.
Okay, you know, it's a worse thing, you know. When you walk in a dark room and watching the screen all the time and watching, and then
you have to be sharp on
and you have to be concentrated. And if you have high concentrated, your brain will be tired, you know. And then the air traffic controllers know the value of the one single word. If you say one word wrong, you cannot make correct that the bad consequences. Yeah.
Wow, lots of responsibility.
You know, that's why air traffic controllers sometimes confuse. Oh, am I saying the right altitude, the right flight list? What should I say? You know.
So, what's the frame, the maximum hours, the standard maximum hours you have to stay and be focused on the radar? Is there a standard time?
In one single turn, the maximum 2 hours.
2 hours?
2 hours, and then
you have to switch.
You can have a 30 minutes break, and then other 2 hours and 30 minutes break, and single shift will be last 8 hours.
8 hours and 30 minutes in between. 2 hours and 30 minutes. Right,
and
right.
You know, it's sometimes it sounds crazy, you know. When the people celebrating the holiday vacation with the family, but you have to walk in there, and we walk by 24 hours for 7 days, and the flights never stop.
Thank you for receiving our invitation again.
Okay. Thank you for inviting me, and I wish all the best to my colleagues and my former air traffic controllers and all the staffs who are working in the civil aviation field. Thank you for inviting me here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's all for today. Thank you for being with us. We will see you on next Tuesday with more news. Have a good one. Bye-bye.